So I was talking about this with Julie before. So when I watched your talk, you go into the fact that mosquitoes they not only carry diseases from animals, but also fungi. And so there's a show called The Last of Us. I don't know if you've seen The Last of Us, but it's based on a
video game.
It's based on a zombie infection, a global zombie outbreak from the cordyceps mushroom.
Wow.
So fungi. And that made me think about watching your talk. Would it be theoretically possible for some super fungi zombie virus to spread from a mosquito if the virus somehow is able to incubate and be able to evolve to jump from being the fungi in the mosquito to being a fungi virus to infecting humans? Would that be theoretically possible?
No, I don't think so. So now we know that the viruses that cause disease in humans were actually, back in the times, mosquito viruses. So these were viruses that will infect only the mosquito cells. And then through a process called natural selection, the virus mutate. So the mosquitoes, when they feed on blood, they inject saliva, and then the virus goes in the saliva and then get exposed to vertebrate cells, like another type of animal, right? From the mosquito, which is an invertebrate, to a vertebrate, which could be a frog, a bird, or a mammal. And so the viruses were able to infect that other type of cells. So only certain group of viruses that are able to infect both invertebrate and vertebrate cells, they have what the so-called dual infection capacity, can actually be transmitted to humans. So it would be really difficult for a fungi to be able to infect mosquito cells, replicate in their tissues and organs, reach the salivary glands, be infected to humans, and then be able to infect human cells. That sounds like a tricky. It would take millions of years of evolution.
Has to happen, yeah.
Oh, wasn't there?
Unless you have a lab in Wuhan that's feeding the virus through animals at a rapid rate to increase the incubation period or accelerate the incubation period.
Although wasn't there, and I mean that was a while ago, because this I think came out soon after The Last of Us had came out. But there was this, like, I don't know if it was an observation in the wild or they've seen this, but I think there was a fungi that was able to infect ants, and then they started, like, it was kind of like eating them from the inside in a way, and they were like having some of those behaviors that they were talking in The Last of Us, like this kind of like interconnectedness where they could kind of like sort of control the ants in a way. And so in theory, if they could do that to the ants, they could do it to the mosquitoes. And I mean, the idea of like that fungi is like it was pushing, I guess, humans to want to bite other humans. And in the case of the mosquito, it's like, well, it's already doing that. So it doesn't really need the fungi to tell it, drink blood.
Well, isn't there is a virus, I don't know if it's a virus or a fungi, but it infects certain insects and it manipulates them to drown themselves so that...
I think that's the one I was talking about.
That's the one you're talking about?
I think so.
Okay, like it basically makes the insect commit suicide. And when the fungi gets into the water, that's how it replicates.
Right.
So it like takes over the insect's brain. I forget exactly what it's called, but yeah, I just remember hearing that on a podcast, or maybe we were talking about it. But
maybe I vaguely remember this. But that was super cool and interesting.